Hello, Sagittarius. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're doing well, and I'm really looking forward to taking a look at all the messages that came through, both the channeled messages and also the cards that we'll be looking at in just a moment. We're going to be looking at the month of January. I'm going to put Apollo down so that we can focus here. I'd like to introduce myself too, in case this is your first time here. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and every month I like to show up and basically give you a blueprint for what's available. This is a special reading because, of course, it's taking place over the holidays here. We're streaming live in December, and it's for January. So we're kind of at that in-between point where we're looking at the new year, all the new possibilities, and I think that this is a great time. I mean, we have that potential always to reset and to create, but it's especially strong during these 2 months. So as we look at what's coming through for January, stay open-minded, stay open-hearted, and I hope to give you some things to basically give you the best possible trajectory for the year ahead, okay? So again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're looking at the sign of Sagittarius for the month of January. You can watch this for your sun, rising, and moon signs. You can also watch on behalf of someone that you love or for other aspects of your chart as well. If you happen to be an astrology buff and you know everything about your chart, you can look for other aspects. And also, the interesting thing about the way that I read, especially at the beginning and the end, is that it's kind of universal. The channeled messages and the meditations can benefit the collective. So if you ever need a little bit of a boost, show up. I'm happy to help you out. You're always welcome, okay? Let's talk a little bit about the structure of the reading, and then we'll get into all the fun stuff, which is the messages. I separated into a few distinct parts. I like to begin with channeled messages, and we got a bunch to go through today. So I'll talk about those first. Those come to me in dreams, in meditation, in free writing, automatic writing, and basically this just gives me a chance to connect with my guides and with yours to deliver some sometimes very specific messages and to kind of give a little bit more color to what we'll see in the card reading right afterwards. And then in addition to this, I like to then expand it to look at the Celtic Cross, which I let take on whatever flavor it needs to. It doesn't specifically have to be about love or about career or health, but if it comes through, perfect. Otherwise, the good thing is then I expand it and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And then we'll do a quick review of all of that, and then we go a little bit deeper into some of the key areas, and I call this the soul path, so that we can figure out maybe how to overcome one of the bigger obstacles that presents itself. And then we'll, after doing that, we meditate, listen to a singing bowl, and then chat a little bit at the end, okay? So hopefully you enjoy the format and everything that's gonna come through today. Before I get started, a little bit of information on how you can show support. If you like what you see at any point, you can, of course, there's a join button. You can click the join button, become a channel member. Everyone with green text has already done that. I just want to say thanks. The other thing that you can do is super chat, and super stickers are just a way to show support while I'm reading. I don't answer questions like a lot of other readers do because I feel like that's, one, it's distracting for me, and also like on replay, I think it's distracting for folks to listen to. So there are times when I do Q&A, but today is a general reading. So the way that you can show support is by clicking this icon right next to the smiley face, and then you can just show some support and some love. And everything that I'm looking at, all the decks that I'm using today are fan supported. So when you guys send me some funds, I buy new things. So thank you for doing that. And I'll keep doing that as I get additional support. Okay. Also, thank you so much to my moderators who help keep everything organized. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get started here. One thing that I was thinking about this morning as I walked my dog, because sometimes he gets me up early in the morning, and I was, it's still dark because we're in December and we haven't quite reached the point where it's starting to get light again around the 21st, 22nd or whatever. So I was thinking about how appropriate it is that at this point of the year, we have a lot of celebrations that bring in light. Hanukkah, for instance, literally you're lighting candles and bringing in the light. Christmas, we're putting all the little twinkle lights out and the decorations to kind of lighten things up a little bit. And the reminder with all of this too is that we always have that light within us, but sometimes having that visual or external reminder helps. And there are certain things that actually thrive in this season where there's less light. And we're going to talk about all of this today. So today's theme at the beginning is about finding the light where there is dark. I wrote a line in my book. This is kind of paraphrased because I was talking to a character in the book, but this is for the collective that I kind of paraphrased it. But Don't fear the darkness, for the darkness fears you. I truly believe this too. The shadow energy that's out there, one of the worst fears that it has is that we actually start to shine brighter and realize that we have power and capacity to overcome things. So my gift to you today, happy holidays, is that you have the power to overcome almost anything in your life, not almost anything in your life, because you've called it in on some level as a lesson. And really the opportunity exists in understanding what it is, why it came there, and how you can release it, move around it, or push the energy through it. Because sometimes shadow energy like fear kind of leads you to pull back, and then you just don't face the problem that's in front of you. Or doubt or anger can sometimes cut off an opportunity in front of you. So trying to take these lower frequency energies and transmute them into light, into higher frequencies, is going to be key. I think we have a great capacity as humans to rise to an occasion, especially when things are challenging. Even this year where things have been chaotic, there are moments of beauty and people coming together. Here in the US, I think more kind of clearly back to 9/11, where there was a moment where almost everybody just quietly realized that we had to change. We had to kind of like fix what was going on. So what's going on in the world right now is now more global. There's this big moment of awakening that we've been going through. I think we can see a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that 2021 is still going to be a year of ups and downs, but we can hopefully see more ups. And so we're going to try to push our light out to make this a brighter year ahead. I thought of a couple of flowers for your kind of nature totem today. One you already know about, the poinsettia, but I actually grow a bunch of these on my back porch. The Christmas cactus. It's actually Schlumbergera is the name of the actual Latin name of the plant, and it grows in the rainforest. So this is actually a picture of it growing on a tree, not just in the pot that we normally see it on. But you've probably seen it more like this, where it's just this beautiful cactus plant that blossoms once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on the sort of outdoor temperatures and the humidity. Interestingly enough, it's a cactus, but it grows like in a rainforest. So it doesn't need a lot of water, but when it gets it, it absorbs it, and it's the epiphyllum, so it actually absorbs it through the leaves. The interesting thing about this is not where it grows, but that it blooms because of the darkness. The same thing is true of a poinsettia. So with too much light, they won't bloom. So they need the contrast to kind of show their true colors. And I thought that was a really interesting characteristic. There's a lot of plants out there that will do this, but those two came to mind today because they show up around this season. And the interesting thing here as well is that we can surprise ourselves sometimes and find that there is this new sort of burst of energy or burst of light sometimes when we didn't expect it. So I'd like you to try to think about how you could thrive during this season, and how just like the lights on the menorah or the lights on your tree or the hearth in your home, how you can kindle your own internal flame and you can do something that matters. The easiest way to overcome shadow energy is to be successful, to be happy, to have that light, and then inspire others to do the same. So kudos to all of you that are teachers, doctors, therapists, people that are helping, encouraging, and championing all of that light work out there. The question and the reason all this came through is, are you inspired by what you're doing right now? If not, then why? If so, keep on that path and expand and share and grow that message. But if not, this is sort of a pivot point for you to think, why am I kind of like pushing myself up against a brick wall? It's okay to want to move on. It's okay to want to let go. Use this time to set up a foundation of joy in your life, because that joy will eventually also bring about abundance. But you need to be happy. And I think a lot of us spend time, biding time sometimes too, being unhappy, hoping for a day when everything's going to be all right or easy. And I think we should be working at that happiness, working at that joy every day. So if you've somehow found yourself in a loop, I was talking to a sign earlier this week about sort of being in like this imaginary loop where you're just stuck trying to go to the door but afraid to open it. This is kind of a continuation of that and saying, find the light so that you're not afraid, so you can shine it out. I think a lot of you are kind of in the hermit phase right now, seeking internally what it is that you want. And there will be a time for you to kind of come out and be the star. The next thing was very, very specific, but I also can kind of bring it out into a way that I think will help all of you. What I saw in the vision was someone that looked like they were kind of being questioned, like in an interview. And it felt like they were freezing up because of the fear of judgment, because of the fear of what people might think as they were showing whatever it was that they were doing. So what I was looking at was it felt like the task or the question was very loosely put together, almost like the person didn't know the answer. This is true sometimes when people are interviewing you, and I know a lot of you are job seeking. I worked for companies where sometimes they would give tests to people, but then some of the insight, they would think, oh, wait, we could actually, that's a good idea, let's use that. So, or new employees would come in and they would put them into like an incubation team because they weren't jaded by the internal systems. And so, truth be known, they're actually quite curious in what your out of the box thinking could be. It's not so much about what they're doing right now, so it's good to do your homework, but it's also like, how can we do this better? So they're really interested in maybe even a little bit of the critical, constructive critical advice that you might have for them. So if you're given a task with incomplete instructions or ambiguous language, either the person is a little bit clueless, it's giving you to this, or confused, or it's a test. And if it's a test, the key thing for you to do is not to freeze up. I saw that some of you, if you kind of missed an opportunity, you would get a second chance. In the second chance, the person said anything would be better than nothing. So anything you provide is going to be better than sitting there and freezing up or doubting yourself. And it's probably better than you think it is. So release judgment and just channel. So that's actually what I like, let your intuitive channel open up. So when I sit here in the morning, I have a certain amount of time I have to get these done. So sometimes I give myself an hour and a half. Sometimes I have 45 minutes. Depends on how much time I've allowed in the morning. But I have to write through all the cards. And sometimes less time is better because I just get the messages out without me thinking, oh, is this right? Is this not right? And that's the intuitive channel. You're sometimes more intuitive on that initial draft. You will have time later to refine. I think that I actually threw away a card that said make it perfect. Perfection is sometimes an illusion. Refine, because we're always in the act of refinement and perfection on this planet in every incarnation. So get out the main idea, and sometimes even less is more, a nice, concise, brief idea. And then you can elaborate, you can refine, you can break it into smaller pieces. There'll be time later. And I think we sometimes assume that the first thing has to be beautiful. No, it can be super messy. It can be kind of just straw man if you want to. That's the important thing there. The other thing that I saw with coming up with this moment of freezing, and this is kind of specifically for people that are maybe trying to go back to a certain type of work that they didn't like, or maybe you're at school but you're not feeling inspired because time off has kind of given you perspective that you want to do something different. For those of you that are retired, it could be about wanting to do something else that really inspires you. Whatever you're doing right now, it feels like the activities are kind of lackluster. So if you're not happy doing what you're doing, this can explain what this sort of mental freeze is about. You're not supposed to succeed at this test or this task. And if you do poorly, it's actually the universe saying, okay, good, now refocus and do something else. We're trying to hold you back from succeeding but being unhappy. So sometimes failure is a gift, and it's a chance for you to recalibrate, refocus, and also consider things that you wouldn't normally consider, right? So I think it would be great for you just not to be so hard on yourself and to celebrate whatever is coming through, however you feel. Honor that feeling and really allow that to help push you like a compass in the right direction. The next thing is tricky because some of you may have more fun just being part of a team or receiving instructions, but there is a leadership opportunity that's popping up. So the question from Spirit is, are you ready to lead a situation? For some of you, I think that there could be challenges with decisions or leadership that you currently have in your life, and you have a choice right now that's in front of you. You could support this status quo. This could mean for some of you, even managing up and covering up for a leader, but that's actually codependency, right? if you're trying to make people around you look good, but they're not doing their job. Or you could speak up and try to change the system. But there's always a risk with that you might need to find something different if that doesn't work or they're resistant to that. I feel like for some of you, there's a task in front of you or a test or an opportunity to go to the next level, but you're holding yourself back because you don't want to do it. For some of you, there's something environmentally that feels like it's stuck and needs to be broken through. But the question is, are you invested enough in the environment around you? This could also be a relationship, by the way, that you want to keep making it work, or are you ready just to move on, release, and celebrate again what your new sort of desire is? So getting unstuck is the second theme. The first theme is about finding light and inspiration, which may then lead you to this feeling of, oh, I know what I want. Why am I doing this? And the answer is you don't have to keep doing it if you don't want to. So the way that these messages work is some of this could be about, again, a work situation, a family situation, or a relationship. It's the same energy. I just see the energy of needing to break free and needing to break through. So in the case of this, and we'll talk in a moment, we need to see reciprocity if it's a relationship. The other party needs to want to come through. There was a kind of moment where it felt like you were an investigator, like a private eye, looking at things a little bit more closely. There were people around you that I saw that were kind of robotic, if you will. So I feel, because I am a sci-fi person, I thought they're not either truly who they want to be, or maybe they've just clocked it in. They're just coming in and checking in and checking out, but they're not there. It was almost like husks with nothing inside. And so it was a weird sort of thing for me to see. But you could be in a situation where there's this emptiness around you. So it could be about the people, not so much about you. Anyway, look beneath the surface, because you might find a key to breaking through this. It could be additional resources. It could be something that you need to bring to that leader or to the organization. If something's broken, you might actually figure out that there's stuff that's been swept under the rug. But I see something here that's going to be like an aha moment that will help you out. I think it's going to be beneficial no matter what for you, because it will help you clarify why you're here, how long you should be here, what you should do next. Okay? Next thing here is we talked about setting down that foundation of joy and growth for the future. I think that it's really important for you to make time to invest in yourself, in your life, and realize that change takes time. True growth takes time is what I should have said. And so as you're looking at that change, looking at that growth, be patient, continue to make that a priority in your life. Many of you are really good at supporting others, at kind of lifting them up. But I also want you to lift yourself up and do whatever is necessary to carve out time in your schedule, to study the things that you want to study, to really stay inspired. Make sure that the other people around you are just as invested in you as you are in them. And I think that that's going to also be a key sort of litmus test for you to figure out, should I stay? Should I go? How do I feel about this? Why am I here? There's a little bit of soul searching and resetting that's happening between December and January. And January is going to open up this new sort of bed of opportunities. Overall, I like what I see. And I think that the key for you is not to be afraid. That was the first message. Just kind of go into it. If we were to pull a few cards from tarot, the Hermit energy is here for sure. The Moon energy is here for sure. And then depending on how you decide to move with this, it could be like I talked about 10 of Wands or the World. There's expansion, there's moving on, and there's this desire to sort of see where you could take that. All right. So let me stack up all of these cards, and then we're going to move along now to the Celtic Cross. If you just joined, don't worry. I always review the messages here at the midpoint. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's coming through for all of us here. And I think this is a really cool time. By the way, just a little note, because sometimes I forget to mention this. I'll be doing a special reading on New Year's Eve. So the abundance that I'm talking about here is something that will be a key theme in that. Love and abundance, actually, because I believe that the two are definitely connected. So join me if you can. It'll be the same time as all of my readings, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we'll get together on New Year's Eve on the 31st and talk about bringing in some abundance and opening up new opportunities in the year ahead. Okay. All right. At this point, I'm going to remain quiet and pay attention to the cards and the messages from the cards. So thank you so much for giving me a couple moments to get everything set up.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for giving me a moment to get this set up and take a quick drink, and we're going to look at all the messages in front of us. Okay. So, wow, what an up close and personal Lord Ganesha card, like literally in your face, right? Well, I almost gasped a little bit when I looked at the card. So understanding, when I see this one, it really is about making sure that you're going into the psyche of somebody or a situation, looking at someone eye to eye. I had a really vivid dream about a week ago where I was connecting with another soul, and part of it was really just about looking at the eyes like they are portals. And I do believe that just like in my book, that there are some, I would say maybe civilizations beyond this planet that use the eyes to kind of go deeper, to look maybe at their own Akashic records, to look at the depths of the soul. So do some soul searching this month. Look within yourself, look around the people that are in your life, and really take stock of what's going on. Have you ever noticed that there's not many situations where you're truly kind of getting close and looking directly at somebody? And if you have someone that can kind of maintain this eye contact, it can be disarming, but it can also be really intimate. You don't have to touch someone. You can just look at someone, and there's intimacy with eye contact. I think this is an interesting thing. How comfortable are you looking at yourself? How comfortable are you looking at others? And if there's anyone in your life that is having a hard time looking you in the eyes, this is a time to kind of evaluate, why is that going on? What's this really telling me? So I want you to kind of look at eye contact as well. By the way, if you're trying to get a job, that's a great way to show interest. And you can, little tip, you can look in one eye. That's something that I do or used to do in an interview. That way, it's kind of, they can't tell if you're looking at one or both. Pick one eye and just focus on that. Then you won't be looking everywhere. You could, and focus on the color, look at other things, or look at the frame of the glasses, do something. That's going to help you show them, I'm interested in you, I care about you, I'm present. So, of course, if we just go into Lord Ganesha's message about understanding, there's a higher message here about trying not to judge. It's really interesting because judgment came through for you. And so part of this is not judging yourself too harshly, not judging others too harshly, and also honoring your internal decision. Because we've got both understanding and judgment, and this is in the near future, the message here is about recognizing that you know already that it's time. It's time to do something. It's time to go after something. It's time to release something. And once you can see that and honor it, it'll be easier. Sometimes judgment is a tricky card because it's almost like we know better, but we don't always listen to it. Judgment leads to justice, where you have no choice sometimes but to do it. You have to make the decision. But judgment is sort of like having made it, but not accepted it sometimes.
It's upright, so it's positive. So I hope that you are all ready for that, but there's still a little hint of that with that card. And it's there's a harsh energy around judgment, because the making of the decision or the declaration that I am, or I want, or I will, whatever it is that you're going to do after that, it breathes energy into it, and it creates that. Alchemic thought is creative. So understand what you're doing, and then celebrate what it's bringing forth. Okay. We have the Seven of Pentacles at the center here. And this is a good card, but when it's reversed, it's basically saying, don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to push back. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. And when I'm looking at this, it's like little flowers, actually, or coins coming out of flowers, it looks like. So I want you to continue to work on what matters. And this I actually prefer the 7 to this, the 6 to the 7 rather, because with the 6, what you would have is, actually this is 7. I was looking at there was 6 that I was looking at. So what I would say here with the 7 of coins, you have recovery. With the 6, there's balance. So if you can say no a little bit, you can grow this. With the 7, don't pull yourself too far into any one direction. So there's the difference between 6 and 7 is also not overdoing it for yourself. So a little bit of moderation will go a long way for you as well. So in this particular month, if you have 16 people asking you to do something, don't overextend yourself with the purpose of just trying to look good. It would still be better to say no, because with that, there's sometimes this feeling that you just get yourself into trouble, and you're going to end up saying no, but it's after the fact and after you're late. If you're spending too much money or time or energy or resource, you need to pull yourself from the 7 to the 6, which is balance. So either that, or grow upon the lessons that you've learned and move to the 8, which is personal growth, abundance, and actually, again, investing in yourself. So the 7 is whenever you have an odd number in tarot, it is it's basically breaking things up. It's breaking a cycle a little bit. The 2, 4, 6, 8, it's all harmonic. It's nice. But with the 1, 3, 5, 7, there's movement and change. 1s are good. 3s are usually good. 7s are interesting. It's a very holy number, and I like it. So I think that if you can just focus on understanding that you can only do what you can do, that you can't make everybody happy, and that you're actually on the path of abundance, then you're going to be A-okay this month. Why not work with somebody? We have the 2 of Cups. So with the 7 of Pentacles, that shows me more than enough, but a tendency to sometimes overextend. So share the load with someone that you love. Ask for help, and you've got it. And then you can bring this to a really nice, higher energy and succeed. 2 of Cups on top of this, you could end up making fast friends with somebody at school or at work or in a sort of challenging situation, because the 2 of you have a vested interest in making something successful, and you start to sort of see all of the wonderful things that this person is bringing to the equation, and you end up really liking this person. So 2 of Cups can be a fast friend. It could be a potential love interest, but there's something interesting with the 7 of Pentacles here. Either the person that you have taken an interest in might be trying to recover health-wise or financially or even emotionally, or you could be working together, and that presents some challenges. So get to know the person, take it slowly, figure out what that growth opportunity is for them. The 7 is nice because it shows us that you are on that path of growth or recovery. So don't judge them harshly on what they just got through. Encourage them to get into their highest light is what I would say. Same thing for yourself. Don't feel bad if you've come from a place where you're not super proud of it, whatever it is, whether there was a setback, whether somebody kind of took away some of your self-confidence, because we have the 5 of Pentacles in the crowning position. So your goal this time is to really see the positive, celebrate that, and keep moving. Take the 7 to the 8 to the 9 to the 10. Like keep moving upward in that growth cycle. This is kind of what the meditation brought me earlier, the 4 of Cups. It's reversed. So it's sort of like, how did I end up here? What am I doing here? And one thing that I really like about the Fountain Tarot, which is what I'm using today, is we'll see people working in and around boxes sometimes, and they're trying to figure out how to change the sort of boundaries around them. So I feel like some of you might have gotten boxed in by expectations or by family lineage, things that are kind of compressing you and forcing you to do something. guess what? There's something right here waiting for the taking. So if you just look around a little bit at other opportunities, not your same path, that was something that was pretty clear to me when I was in the dream and sort of like at that interview was what it felt like. It was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Whatever that was, whatever's in front of you, it felt like there was a desire for change. So I wanted to pivot in one direction and explore new opportunities. So if that's the case for you, then go for it. Because guess what? There's something right there ready for you. Okay. It also is a reminder that the grass is always greener sometimes. So get some perspective, really take a moment. And if you want to do something, try it a little bit. When you're younger, there's great ways to do that, like internships. And I know that when I did a couple of internships, one when I was in undergrad, one when I was in grad school, and both of them helped me realize that the paths that I thought I wanted to take, I didn't. Surprisingly, all of my internships helped me understand I didn't want to do that. Part of it is because interns are sometimes treated poorly, but also because I got to see some of the drama that went on behind the scenes, and I realized, okay, this may not be everything that it's cut up to be. So give yourself a chance to try on new things, like a shirt. You go to the store, you try it on, and think, I don't know, does this fit? You have to do the same thing with a life moment, like a career or what you're studying or who you're with. You have to kind of give it a chance to see if it's comfortable. And I think that's kind of what you're presented with is a growth opportunity, and you have to try it on. Some of you already have a big idea of what you want to do. We have the Ace of Wands. Now, if you just met someone, this shows a really strong connection between the two of you as well. You may either have a lot of like mental connection, or there could be a strong physical chemistry. I like what I'm seeing with that. It looks good. The interesting thing with this is that it could be an unexpected person that's coming in, maybe someone that you'd never considered as a partner. Same thing holds true for a platonic business partnership. We sometimes need to pull in people that complement and help us push ourselves into different places. So if you're more of an introvert, you might be looking for an extrovert to help you with public relations and with working with other people. So in any aspect of your life, I'm seeing a complementary energy. And I like to remind people, again, the inverse of Jerry Maguire. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're looking for them to complement your energy and to maybe bring something different to the equation. And this is what I'm seeing here as someone that could be an unexpected ally or partner or lover even. So give them a chance. Focus on healing yourself. This is an interesting time because in December and January in particular, since I'm reading for January, we have this feeling of sometimes wondering, am I alone? How did I get here? This, especially now because we can't connect with families as much. But this is a card of familial healing as much as it is money. So I want you to take a look at the close family ties that you have and try your best to either like let it go or try to improve it if you want to, and then focus on personal development. And I love that we see all of the coins kind of in the panes of this window here. Usually this represents like a place of safety, whether it's a church, a mosque, a temple. It's a place where you could go and be safe. But sometimes it's hard to see the opportunity because you're pulled within. And so look at what's around you, look at what else you can do, and realize that you don't need, it's like Six of Wands. It's great to have, but you don't always need people telling you you're okay to know that you're okay. So from me to you, I'm just saying you're great, actually. Focus on healing yourself. And from a different perspective, not looking at self-confidence, this could show that it's a break-even sort of month because we have the Two of Pentacles here. We have the Five of Pentacles here. That really is like half. So for some of you, you're at a point where maybe your budget's been reduced and you're kind of just sliding by this month. Don't give up, because your center card was one of recovery after a period of time where maybe you were having difficulties. Seven of Pentacles can either show stretching yourself too much or rebounding. So focus on the rebounding or the elastic energy of the Seven of Pentacles. Embrace the Six of Pentacles, balancing, and the Eight of Pentacles, which is kind of like an assembly line, things going in the right direction. So say no, don't overextend yourself, and focus on self-confidence, because if you go out there and try to connect with people, but you don't love you or you don't see your potential, then they won't either. And that's the kind of secret to this card, is that you can overcome it simply by believing that you're worth it, basically. So the Judgment card here, it is time. If you've been thinking about doing something, moving, proposing, quitting, doing something big, judgment is pretty big. This is a good time to make the change happen, to believe that it can happen. And the key here is believing is seeing, something I've written before in my channeled messages. So if you believe it and if you see it, then you can create it. You're breathing fire into it and kind of stoking that possibility, okay? So believe in it. We'll look a little deeper when I do the soul path to see what some of you might be grappling with, but let's go ahead and look at the rest of the cards and I might revisit this one. I usually don't see the Two of Pentacles as a resource card. I typically read it as work-life balance, as something's out of balance. We see a hand here coming up from the water, kind of grasping for these two coins, and they have that sort of elastic infinity energy that's connecting them. So I feel like for you, you might be drawn between two competing opportunities, two people in your life that are trying to get your time and energy, or you might be having to choose between one thing and another, like your work life and your social life. The key here is that it doesn't have to be like you're ripping one to benefit the other. Balance. This is where there's like saying no, pushing back, asking for help, leaning on others, all of that can help you get the balance that you seek. You're not in this alone. You don't want to drown. You want to ask for help on this. And I think you can do that. We have two really strong divine masculine energies here. We have the Hierophant and the Emperor. Let's look at around you. So around you, what we see is the structure. Remember, I was talking about this is a cool deck because of the relationship between people and the boxes. So in one, this is hopes, fears, and opportunity. There's a fear of what will happen if I try to break out of this box. Can I break out of this box? Am I stuck? And then there is someone here that's saying, you're actually supposed to be opening up new things. Let's look inside. Let's see what's possible. So thinking outside of the box is literally part of this. And Hierophant and Emperor energies are very patriarchal. They're very old school. They're very 20th century energies. And I feel like your key is this atypical Hierophant. It's like, well, let's see what else we can do. Maybe there's a better way. Maybe I have that better way. Maybe we should try this. So maybe is a powerful energy because it opens up the possibility of change, the possibility of success, possibility. So never really thought of maybe as being strong, but it is when you're trying to inch in toward that change. And something about the environment needs to be changed. And so we have a non-conforming Hierophant coming through, an alchemic Hierophant. In some decks, it's the High Priest, which I like because it's kind of like you're taking a combination of the Magician and the High Priestess and bringing it here and saying, no, I learned the lessons and now I'm going to use that to change and to lead. So you have an alchemic opportunity with the people around you, the situation around you, the relationship that you're in, to change it for the better, to open up their eyes to something new. Now, whether they choose to look in the box or not, that's up to them. And that is also what's going to help you make a decision about what to do next. This is also kind of like it can be almost like a tesseract is what I'm saying here. But with this particular Emperor card in reverse, two things. First of all, when I see leadership cards reverse, it's really about taking care of yourself and not overdoing micromanaging with others. So whether you're a friend and you're worried about another friend and you wish that they would make a better decision, not your decision to make. All you do is present them with an option and give them time and let them come to you. You clearly have some insight and some opinions on certain things. And I think that they're great, but like let people tap you for those ideas. You could also be in an environment where people don't recognize you because of all these darn boxes, right? They've got these old structures that you got to break down, glass ceilings, if you will, and imaginary walls. So part of what you might be trying to do is you could just break the wall anyway and go ahead and be bold and share the idea and see what happens. So there's a little bit of a rebellious energy that I'm sensing between these two cards and a tug of war between two strong energies. If there is a relationship that's budding this month, the one thing that could be difficult about it is a lot of strong will, right? Because we didn't necessarily get any court cards, but we got two people that showed up in the major arcana, and those are two really strong energies. So both having like strong divine masculine energies. So wanting to do things a certain way, wanting to have things be in control. So give and take. That's what we see here with the Two of Pentacles, knowing when to compromise and when not to, knowing how to maybe concede to some things and then also bring that person a step closer to what you need. We see a lessening of stress, which is good. The Nine of Swords is reversed. I love this Nine of Swords because we don't actually necessarily see swords. We see cords connecting you to other people. And so with this in reverse, what's happening is you're releasing those energetic cords. Beautiful card. I mean, hard to say that 9 or 10 of Swords is ever beautiful, but it is beautiful because it's showing that the fear that this person is feeling is from other people and from a fear of like what they're going to think. So you want to cut these strings, want to cut the cords. Feels like you're already starting to do that. Focus on getting enough sleep, something I've been trying to do lately too. Just turn off the TV, close the book, turn off the radio, stop looking at your phone at a certain point, rest and meditate. For people that are having a hard time putting in meditation, do it before you go to bed. It's okay if you fall asleep meditating. That the longer you practice your meditation, the longer you'll be able to meditate. But if you have had a hard time getting to sleep, meditating before you go to bed is a great time to do it. Get a little bit more rest, focus a little less on what other people think, and practice some cord cutting. I did a meditation earlier this month where we were pulling out the cords. That's another way that, like, almost like it was outlets, the receptacles. And I don't know if you've ever had when I was a kid, my mom had a vacuum where the cord would go back into it when you were done. So just imagine that that energetic cord's going back to its source, kind of like that automated thing where there's some sort of cranked up wheel that just sucks it back in. You don't have to deal with it. You're going to unplug it and then let it go, and it's going to go back to source. You're going to close the openings, and that's it. And that's a meditation that maybe we'll incorporate again today because it's pretty powerful. All right, let me take a quick drink, and we're going to expand the forecast and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. I see in the comments that some of you have fallen asleep in meditation. It's probably because your body needs the rest. And if you set the intention for peaceful sleep and put protection around you, it still served its purpose. And you may continue your meditation while you're sleeping. All right, for health this month, again, courtesy of you guys, I got a new deck. We're going to be looking at flowers, basically, nature. And this is interesting. This has to do with the Two of Cups that we saw at the center. So I'll pull it up really close here, but I got to read it first. So it says, love at first sight and proud spirit. When I saw you, I fell in love and smiled because you knew. And then we have Gloxinia. So I love this also because there's a transformational energy around this union. We've got the butterfly, right? So I feel like you could meet a really great person in your life that could bring about abundance. Because when we look at the Two of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, basically that means that 2 is better than 1, and you can actually start that healing process. Usually the Seven of Pentacles will show a guy that's kind of like kneeling or leaning on a shovel, and he's looking at the vine that's growing, and there's 7 blossoms or 7 coins on it, and he's wanting more. But the key here is that you're making good progress here, and this other person could help you get further faster. And I feel like there is a really beneficial partnership that could be coming through this month. You guys always want me to look at partnerships. It actually came through in health. The thing with this is that it's healthy and normal and good to share the burden, or to have someone else in your life, or to kind of have this shared energy, because that's why there's a balancing energy with the Two of Pentacles. A lot of times you'll see that as a tightrope walker, and they're trying to kind of find a way to keep everything in balance. So you don't have to do it on your own. You're actually going to be healthier and happier if you let someone else come in. They could also change your perspective or open things up. You also might find someone that you love, no matter what. Love is a friend or love is more. I feel like there's some beneficial energy coming in through partnership that will help you feel healthier and happier. Let's look at the cards for additional insight on general health problems. This has been popping up left and right for the January readings. 5 of Pentacles, I feel like I've seen at least 2 or 3 times. So with the 5 of Pentacles, I want you to focus on making sure that you're moving and stretching your legs enough. If you're someone who can't move them because you're in a wheelchair or because you're older and your joints are hurting, there are exercises that you can do where you can sit down in a chair and do yoga and stretch, or work with your physical therapist. Keep the circulation moving in your legs, whatever you need to do, or even like a massage therapist, getting that circulation moving, because sometimes 5 of Pentacles can just show cramps in the leg, clots in the leg, which you don't want. or there can be joint problems that lead to issues with balance and stability. So focus on loving our legs, our knees, our ankles, and our feet. They take so much of the load and we forget about them sometimes. So anything that you can do to stretch, to strengthen, and to lengthen that part of your body, it's going to be really beneficial. Let me see what else we can focus on for health. As I mentioned earlier, stress management overall is going to be key, and getting ample sleep and making sure that you're rested after you sleep. So if you're not rested after you sleep, look at the consistency of your sleep schedule, look at how clean your bedroom is, clear out the energy, and then try the meditation and look at other parts of your life. I recently stopped drinking caffeine. That made a big impact. So look at things like that and see how that affects you. So little tiny things can make a big improvement. Okay, those are your main health messages. Let's look at wealth. We have inner child healing. So this card was reversed, but this definitely sits nicely with the Five of Pentacles message here, which is you don't need someone else to tell you you're okay, because when we look at it upright, we kind of have this angelic, eternal mother energy that's coming through. But in reverse, it's also saying, I also have all of that energy within myself to love, to nurture, and to allow myself to grow the way I need to. And that was one of the messages I said for you, is that change and growth, it doesn't happen overnight, and you should keep putting what you want into your life, and that's in wealth. So with this, go back to one of those earlier dreams that you had as a kid. What was it that you initially wanted to do? And now, even as an adult, what is your inner child whispering to you? Like, let's do more of this, or let's have more fun with this. Listen to that inner whisper of the inner child, of your higher self, really, and honor that, because something creative could come from that. Because this is also almost like Empress energy too. I would say for many of you, there's something that you're getting ready to do, to deliver, to create. And with the Hierophant and the Emperor card, you need to have a lot of control and a lot of say over that. So if you're entrepreneurial, good for you. Make sure that you keep that voice, keep that direction in whatever it is that you're creating. Okay. Let's look at other messages for wealth. Like I said, Seven of Pentacles at the center. So growth after a period of struggling or stretching, leaning into the energies of either sister card around it, of the 6 and the 8, to kind of bring in more. So saying no, not overextending yourself, and really focusing on personal development. If we look at everything like that card and the 2 around it, that'll help you hop to the next one, which is 9 of Pentacles, which is independence. So say no, don't stretch yourself, and do something to further your personal growth. You may be underappreciated wherever you're at. This can legitimately mean that someone's not paying attention to you. We have to sometimes look at them at face value. And they may be leaning on the excuse that there's not enough time or energy or resources, etc. That may be true, but it's not going to be true forever. So set into motion, or put into writing, some sort of a plan for how next to develop yourself, whether that's at school or at work. And again, if it's retirement, for those of you that are retired, this is about really finding something that feeds that inner joy that we were looking at here, giving back in a way, possibly to youth, because we see the inner child here. So, all right, let's look at love. Another reversed one here, but a beautiful card here. Spiritual gifts. As we look at this, these are healing hands, quite literally. Heart chakra, and then your hands pulling that energy. And then the third eye is showing the psychic connection to all of this. But thank you for helping me channel my gifts and talents. Some of you are ready to heal, ready to work on the spiritual path. This is also like the Midas touch, right? So you have the ability this month to breathe life and fire and energy into things. So imagine that everything that you could touch has sort of this magical quality to it. And if you start to believe that, especially when you're, even if you're sending off a digital resume, right? Because I know a lot of you are job searching or trying to do something. So really meditate, and before you hit send or submit, just make sure that you send also with that a little energetic piggyback saying, this is the one. It's harder now, because back in the day, if you had a physical CV that you were mailing to somebody, you could infuse that with some light. They could pick it up and they could feel the light and the energy and the desire, but you can still send a little lightning bolt of love and, hey, I'm the one, I really want this, into that email as well. We have the ability to touch for the better things with our energy and our light. So send some love, send some light out into the world. That's how plants work with us too. You just kind of pick them up, love them a little bit, and then they start to grow. Okay, let's look also at relationships. As I mentioned earlier, if you're falling in love this month, because we have that spiritual gift, there could be a kind of an awakening that happens when this person comes in. This could be a high partnership. So either the person is psychic or a healer, you might be because you're watching this channel. And as you connect with this person, there's this new awakening that happens, or it's a deeper, it's beyond sort of like a typical romance. So like when you truly are with someone that's spiritual and you both are spiritual, there's this extrasensory thing that happens as well. So you might be experiencing that. As I said, there is a couple of really distinct, strong energies between Hierophant and Emperor here. So give and take is going to be a challenge in old relationships and new relationships, and also just for those of you that are interacting with others, like in business, not looking for love, but maybe looking to get ahead in finances and everything. Relationships require a little bit of compromise and a lot of this, getting to know the person that you're with. Listen to them. Ganesha's listening. Ganesha's observing. Be present. Pay attention to the little things. You're getting like a cornucopia of feedback on all the different levels. You have to be awake and listening to it. And then we have the oak tree here, and guess what we're really looking at is the seed, you know, basically the nut, the seed for the next year ahead. And the interesting thing that I've been picking up on, and I want to repeat a few times, is that I feel like we're entering into, in 2021, the recovery, but it's not going to be what 2022 will be. So this is the period where we're planting the seeds. I saw someone in chat, they're like, I'm tired of planting the seeds. You better not get tired of planting the seeds, because you have to keep doing that throughout your life. This was like a few months ago, so don't worry. But I do read the chat. I look at everything afterwards and make sure that I see what you guys are saying. But with this, what I'm seeing with this is a tree doesn't grow overnight. So you could be setting a seed into motion now that may come to fruition, or you might start to see something from this in 3 years, in 5 years, in 7 years. What I was seeing is a growth spurt energetically, financially, and spiritually from 2022 to 2026 in particular. There's like a 4-year period where a lot happens. So 2021, better plant those seeds. And if you don't want to, that's fine, but you'll be playing catch up. So keep investing, keep working, keep moving forward. And I think you'll be good with that. But we're really focusing on this. And we're also looking at having a plan for more than just the year ahead. So looking out 2 to 3 years, and also having a few things in the fire, a few irons in the fire. You want to have something going on. So think about plan A, plan B, plan C, and have a couple of things growing just in case, so you can lean on that, so you can tap into this. So this will be the next thing. So the more streams of intuition and influence and inspiration, and also like resources that you have, the better. You want more revenue, you want more opportunity, you have to create it, okay? Let's go ahead now and quickly review what we've just discussed, and then we'll go a little deeper. We'll look at the Judgment card for sure. That's the one that I wanna start with. And then we'll look at the 5 of Pentacles and see where there can be some healing there. And then we'll do kind of like a wild card, okay? So, as I said in my book, don't fear the dark or the darkness, because it fears you. And this is ridiculously true. The way to overcome failure or anger or lower frequency is just to kind of prove to yourself, hey, I can come back from this. I can spring back. I've got this. And it also is never worry about getting even. Just do a really great job on something, and you'll prove to others that you have the capacity that they couldn't see. I think all of us are being given a chance to rise up right now. And much like the plants that I was talking about, whether it's a poinsettia, a Christmas cactus, or any number of nocturnal plants that actually need a little bit of time to create blossoms or to grow, you can thrive during this period. And by doing that, you're going to set into motion what we saw with that oak card here in Destiny, a chance to really be set up for the next 2 to 3 years. Like the lights on the menorah, the twinkle lights on a Christmas tree, or the hearth in your home, you need to work on kindling your light, your fire, and your inspiration. The easiest way, like I said, to overcome shadow energy is just to be successful and to shine that light like the star. Inspire others to do the same. Again, kudos and much gratitude to all the teachers and healers and leaders out there. Keep shining the light. We need more of that now. If you are feeling stuck, it's for a reason. Like, are you happy? Are you inspired? Are you fulfilled? If you're not, if you're being underappreciated, underpaid, if it's too restrictive wherever you're working, this is really a chance for you to escape that box, basically. Use this time to set a foundation of joy, of growth, of happiness. Because what this is going to do, this is like the fertilizer that will help you grow and reach great new heights. You may be given a task with an incomplete instruction set or maybe ambiguous language. It's intentional, I think. For some of you, the person that's asking you to do this has no idea, and they're hoping that you do, or they're trying to purposely put you out of your comfort zone to see if you can do it. And so I felt palpable stress in my body when I woke up. This was not last night, but the night before, because I programmed a couple nights before to receive messages. And I thought, gosh, there's some people out there that are just getting in their own way because they're worried about succeeding or failing, as it were. So don't kind of freeze up. Don't worry about that. Don't pressure yourself so much. Just try your best and ask some questions. I scribbled in later if you need some additional guidance. Anything is better than nothing. Truly, if you have a task, just give it a one go. Any kind of idea that you have is better than what you have at the beginning, which is nothing. And it's probably better than what that person had because they're stuck. So open up your intuitive channel and just let the ideas flow. Don't worry about how messy it is or how, how undeveloped it is. You're going to have time to refine it later. And are you happy with what you're doing? If not, then it's time to think about like moving on. And this explains the mental freeze. Do something you want to do, and don't get angry if the people around you are making you unhappy. Find a path. It doesn't have to happen overnight. You could take up to 2 to 3 years to do that, but it's time. Are you ready to take the lead? Because it feels like you have some opportunities to step up. There are challenges in decision making. We even saw that with the earlier cards. It feels like there's fogginess in leadership around you. And so you can either continue to feed into that, maybe even cover for some people that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, but that's codependency. Or you could just speak up and say, I have an idea, let's try this. You might be shot down, but this could also be a way for you to understand, should I stick around? So there's really nothing to lose on that. Dig deeper. If you have to sign a contract, absolutely be looking at this fine print. I've been saying that for a while. If you're trying to solve a problem, go back to the earliest drafts. Something might have been lost. Especially when you work in big groups, sometimes people get the essence of the idea, you lose it, it's watered down. So you want to go back to the first idea and make sure you didn't lose something. Might also reveal something that needs to come to light. I think it's going to be beneficial, whatever you see, and it'll give you an idea to solve this problem. Make time to invest in yourself. And remember that growth and change take time to reveal themselves. Really be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. And make yourself, make your growth a priority. And finally, and most importantly, and it's the 5 of Pentacles, are others as invested in you as you are in them, in their happiness? Because if not, this is the time to really rectify that. Every time I look at this card, it definitely takes your attention. So eye contact is super important. Being present is really important. And looking deeper is what's important here too. The understanding comes through listening, investigating, interrogating, sitting with something for a while. We don't see any other part of Lord Ganesha. It's taking it all in. So I feel like you need to soak things in a little bit and really understand why you're here, and what's going on to kind of understand what to do next. But you will get that. The 7 of Pentacles, growth and recovery after a period of difficulty, but also not spreading yourself too thin, as we talked about. Lean on the cards around it, on saying no and on personal development, and you will skip to the 9 of Pentacles, which is independence. 2 is better than 1, especially when you have all of the stuff that you're dealing with. So spread the load a little bit when it comes to work and energy and everything that you're trying to balance, and you'll do a better job. There might be new love coming through. So yay. I know you guys always want to see that. If it comes smack dab in the center, there's no way to avoid that. I like that we see that with this one, it's almost like they're throwing up the cups and they're looking up at the stars. So there might be a really deep connection between you and this person, which is why when you see them, we had a couple here, love at first sight with this card, and then literally like looking into the eyes of someone. I've had a few opportunities in my life, usually with best friends, where I met them and I thought, wow, we're gonna have a lasting relationship. I can tell because this person is special. I've known them before, and I'm happy to see them again. Stepping outside of this, it's almost like the pressure of ancestry, of community, of lineage. Sometimes you're born into I don't think we really need to worry about caste, but sometimes you're born into something where people assume something of you. And what this is sort of like saying, I'm not part of that system. I want to go here instead of here. I don't fit into this line. So create your own path. And this is a wake-up call and a wake-up month for all of that. Big ideas are coming through. This partnership looks good. I like when I see Ace of Wands or Ace of Swords. It shows a strong connection. It does feel like this one's a little bit more, it'll either be like mental or physical, and then you'll need to get to know that person a little bit more. Going on the other levels, just make sure that it is what you're looking for. With the Five of Pentacles, self-love, taking care of your health, of course, and then fighting for equal pay, equal recognition. This is your chance to get what you deserve. And if you can't get it where you're at, it's a clear message that it's time to move on. And that's what this Judgment card is really kind of saying, is you know what you need to do. You probably know when you need to do it. Are you ready to do it? It's interesting too, because I'm looking at this, and depending on, if you look at it really closely, we see someone sort of coming out of this, whatever it is, like a cup or a horn or something. It's sort of like you need to reveal what needs to happen next. And I feel like some of this stuff is kind of under wraps or hidden. And this is what the Ganesha card is saying. Dig a little deeper. Look, really get at peace with that, so that when you say this, when you deliver the message, it's clear. It's not sort of shrouded in all of this, this sort of facade. You have to truly believe what you want to do before you do it. Okay? Yeah, it's like a cocoon. Thank you. The Two of the Two of Coins here, the Two of Pentacles, work-life balance. So find the balance you need, fight for that balance. You can achieve it. It's not about giving up one thing for another. It's about maybe sometimes borrowing from one for the other, but finding a chance to sort of do what you need right now. And if people around you won't, or they want you to kind of break that bond, then that's a clear message here too, that it's time to move on. The Hierophant and the Emperor, vying for attention, vying for power, and both of them in different types of boxes, right? One is opening one is stuck in one. So this month, there's a chance to try to help someone out of a pattern. There's a chance to show a new technique, but you're going to fight old systems. The Emperor is the old system. Oddly enough, the Hierophant is the one that's breaking the system. So usually it would be a little different, but that's what we're seeing with this. All right, Nine of Swords, take care of yourself. Release these connections that you're feeling with other people, especially if you constantly feel a sense of stress. If you get a text from someone or the phone rings and you see a name pop up and you immediately feel like a pit in the, like some sort of pain in the pit of your stomach, that's not the person to keep talking to. So cut these cords, unplug from that energy. There's a chance for new love, new friendship, and it could be one that really brings about something nice and transformational in your life, so be open to that. Other messages for health, again, were to focus on the energy in your hips, your legs, your knees, your ankles, your feet. This part of our body that holds us up, basically our root, focusing on root chakra health, and also just the legs. Everything around that part of your body needs a little bit of love. Give it some attention. For wealth, creating something you really want to create, doing something you truly feel, having some fun, because the inner child needs to have fun, needs to be nurtured, needs to be fed. And if you're starving something in your life, you're not going to be as successful or as happy as you want to be. I see recovery, but only if you believe in yourself. Maybe another person can help you see something that you can't, but I ultimately want you to see that as well. For wealth, we have this beautiful spiritual awakening card here, where we definitely see the heart and the also kind of like, it's like an awakening here with healing hands. if you truly push in, it's almost the throat too, between the heart and the throat. I feel like there's an activation happening. So feeling what you want to do, speaking what you want to do, and then literally putting that energy into it, I think you're going to do amazing things. So mind, body, spirit, start putting what you want into what you're doing. Okay. And then, of course, as we talked about, looking not just at this year, but the years ahead, and really planting seeds that can grow over time. Not everything's going to be an immediate return on investment. And it's kind of fun to have goals, right? And things that you can check in on every day, because if you've achieved everything, it's boring. So keep working, keep planting those seeds. You're never going to stop. We're kind of like farmers in our life. We have to keep planting new crops, new things, and tending to things as well. But you matter this month. And that was something that came through really, really strong. So it's important to invest in yourself. Let's go deeper into the message of, I want to look at the Judgment card, and I want to then look at the Five of Pentacles. So Judgment first. What is it that you're grappling with? How can I help you feel a little bit more at ease with your decision? King of Cups, love it. We didn't get a lot of cups here either. So we had the Four of Cups and the Two of Cups, but this is great. So when you're truly doing what you love, then you are the king of your world or the queen of your world. Because I don't really read gender so much in this, but this is the highest possible pinnacle, and it exists because of the success. Because the success exists because of the happiness. So your guides are coming through saying, do what makes you happiest. Happier, happiest, happy. If you're not happy, if something's holding you back, if there's some part of your life where you feel like, I don't know why I'm doing this, then don't do it anymore. Or change things to the point that you can be happy. So choose Judgment, happiness, King of Cups. Choose love. If you like. Love doesn't have to be happiness, but love yourself, love others, be in love, be happy, be creative, be expressive, be a channel, move. There's water all around King of Cups because there's movement. So part of the happiness could entail moving to a new job, moving to a new house, moving in with somebody. Movement is all around, okay? So if you have to decide, should I move? Should I do this? It looks like yes, based on what I'm seeing here. All right, Five of Pentacles. Where can we focus on this? Is it familial? Is it confidence? What's the message specifically for the soul? Page of Pentacles. Great. So this is really about choosing to move forward with something. Being open to receive. Pages both deliver and receive. If you ever work for a company and there's a page, and that's really what they do. They send and receive messages. That's why we've got the pages here. So I would say for you, are you ready to receive happiness and love? Are you ready to receive a new idea, new inspiration? Are you ready to achieve balance in your life? You ready to try something that's bold, that's different, that could be accepted or rejected, but probably is the right thing to do? Are you ready to open up to your intuitive gifts? Are you ready? Something that I typed again and again in my novel. And for anyone that's waking up, that's a key question, because the universe is always ready. Are you ready? So if you're ready, start stating that daily. I'm ready. I'm ready now. Because sometimes the universe works in very long timelines. So just say, I'm ready now to receive love and abundance in all forms. Again, show up on the 31st. We'll talk more about abundance. But readiness and belief and acceptance and self-worth. It is about self-worth. Okay, let's just look at the wild card. Two of Wands. Necessary for basically bringing something into fruition. Interestingly enough, it's almost like chopsticks, this particular Two of Wands. And it does have the crystal ball here. So with chopsticks, because I'm kind of seeing that energy for sure here, you have to take some action. You have to get coordinated and organized. And the first time you try to use chopsticks, it will not work unless you're very lucky. I remember the first time I thought, what? in Western society. Like, I know that most other places, they're like, yeah, maybe the first time they use it. But I think even for little kids that are just learning how to do it, there's a lot of coordination. There's a reason we eat with our hands first, and then we use utensils, whether it's chopsticks or a fork and a knife, etc. So you have some goals that you're setting into place. They're not going to happen immediately. 3 of Wands shows that it's happening right now. 2 of Wands is setting it into motion, but keeping and like trying it. Like, okay, well, that didn't work as much as I thought. Okay, how about this? Adjusting and refining as needed. And eventually you're going to be a master of that manifestation. And I like that this 2 of Wands is using it like chopsticks, because it's like, yes, I'm going to go for it. Yes, I've got this. Yes, yes. It's not sort of just sitting there and thinking, maybe this. And this is a multitasking 2 of Wands because it's just one hand. So normally you see the globe or the crystal ball and you see the 2 different wands around them. So this is, I can do it all. I can do it all at once if I need to. You can multitask. So no excuses on not having enough time or just being, having to kind of do this whenever you can do it. Make time is what this card is saying. Make time, adjust it. You're not going to be perfect the first time, but you will be perfect eventually. And this is necessary for manifestation. Know what you want to do, keep working on what you want to do, and then do it. And I've been talking this month about the difference between just having the thought and then breathing energy into it as well. So this is a kind of complementary message with that. So meditate, have the mantra if you want to, of whatever you're programming into coming into fruition. And then every day do a little something. So always mental, physical, metaphysical, you're working with all of those to practically breathe life into and create something. And this is a very active 2 of Wands, which I like. It's not just about the head, it's also about the follow through. So great messages coming through here for your sign. I really liked your soul path, actually. Even more elevated than the rest of what we saw. Choose happiness. Receive, open up the receptor, open up the satellite so the stuff comes through. And then don't give up. Don't get disappointed if it takes some time. And know that thought is probably the most important thing, because this is the aha moment. This is the sort of lightning bolt, but it's not going to work without a physical follow through. Simply meditating on making something happen very rarely will be enough unless you actually do some other things. So you meet spirit halfway, just like the 3 of Wands. So meditate, do, follow through, and then eventually we're going to see the High Priestess with this 2 of Wands. So we'll pull a card after we meditate and see if there's a final card for the road, so to speak. And I think we're in a good place, though. I really like what we have right there. So for the meditation today, before I get started, I'd like to say, if you enjoyed any part of this, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It helps a lot. It helps us reach a wider audience. And to that end, if you follow me on social media, and I'll put all the links later, you can click the pinned link that I have there that'll go to my website. Feel free to share this on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can retweet some of the stuff that I put out there. And it's a great way to help me reach a wider audience. Okay, let's get into the meditation. I'm looking at all of this today, and I kind of want to work with the energy of nature, because we talked earlier about flowers. There's a lot of flowers that came through today. So let's plant these seeds, whether it's an oak tree seed that we're going to be putting out there, or there's something else. Let's think about what we can put into the world, and let's start to see it grow and bring something into fruition. We're going to use the power of the heart space, green energy. We're going to see it grow all around us. And then I'll pull one more card and see if there's any final messages for January. Also, it's kind of a check to see if the meditation accomplished what we wanted to. If you've never been here before, stick around. It's fun, and these are kind of magical, especially whenever there's a group like this. We can do a lot together. So the more people stay, the better this is, but there's no pressure. And if you want to rewatch any part of this, it's always available on replay. Okay. So let's use a daytime meditation. We've been using night a lot. And I want you to imagine that you are in a beautifully rich green forest, actually the rainforest, because I was talking a little earlier about the Schlumbergera, or the Christmas cactus, or Easter cactus, or holiday cactus, whatever you want to call it. So imagine yourself in a beautifully, densely sort of populated rainforest, and maybe just after the rainstorm. So you're following a rainbow. You're looking at this beautiful beam of light, and you're going to go to the end of the rainbow. I'd like you to walk through the forest, and you're going to experience and smell and see things that you've never seen before, unless you're lucky enough to live by one of these beautiful forests. So first of all, feel how dense the air is as you're walking through it, that you can almost cut through things. There's this heaviness in the air, but there's this beautiful sweet aroma from all the flowers. You can hear it teeming with life all around you. And you notice now as you're moving to the end of the rainbow, there is this opening, there is a clearing where you can find a place to sit down. Maybe there's a tree trunk that's there that you can sit down on, or there's a nice little opening here in the grass where it's not been rained on too heavily. So find a place to sit down and close your eyes and just feel the energy of the forest. And as you close your eyes, it's almost as if you could visually see everything, almost like the Matrix, if you will. There's this green energy surging all around you. And within the trees, within the insects, within the flowers, within the earth itself, life everywhere. So if you were feeling in any way depleted before this meditation, there's no way you can feel that way now. All you need to do is place your hands on the grass beneath you, cross your legs, really connect on the root chakra to the planet, and breathe in for a second and imagine that you are sending energy, sending roots into the planet. Inhale. Pull that light into your body, pull that sustenance into your energetic system. Imagine that just like the Ace of Cups or like a tree that's growing, you're going to start to push your energy upward. In your heart space, I want you to plant an idea, a goal, a dream, some sort of something that you want to see happen over the next month, year, or decade. Rub your hands together and put that energy, one hand on top of another, right into the heart space. And now, symbiotically moving with the trees, with the plants, I want you to start to feel as if that seed that you've planted, because we're working with green heart space energy, is going to start to bloom. It's going to start to reach out of your crown chakra out into the world. It's going to start to find the right people, the right places, and the right opportunities. And it's going to call into creation your dream or your goal. And as you're starting to meditate, you can imagine that beautiful arcs of green light are coming out. You can see your other chakras coming out as well, but definitely the green. And if you want to kind of, at the end of this meditation, imagine that a flower is starting to open up, then see that maybe right around your crown. And allow each one of those petals to be an antenna, which is opening you up to love, abundance, and opportunity. All right, close your eyes and just listen to the sound of this singing bowl and imagine that you are calling in this love and abundance. Take a deep breath. Sit up tall. And as you exhale in your mind's eye, take a look at how far you've come, how much you've grown. Look at how far you've reached out into the world. You've sent these sort of, it's almost like little baby seedlings or runners out there to continue this path of abundance. You've planted a seed of hope, of desire in your heart that's going to grow, that's going to attract abundance. You blossomed into something more than you thought you could be. Hold this vision with you as you move through the holiday season, as you move through the new year. Honor whatever the goal is and don't give up. Choose to receive, choose to create. Keep refining, keep trying, and you're worth it. So let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to put this down here, and I want to look at one more card and see if there's any additional insight and perhaps on how to best do that, or if there's anything else we need to know, and then we'll wrap up. Seven of Wands. Don't give up. And this is a card of sometimes having to do a little bit more than you expect, but knowing that you can handle everything that's coming your way. The card was reversed. So interesting thing with the card reversed is saying you don't have to fight. Like fight for what you want, but you don't have to fight with people. You don't have to explain yourself. And when you set up that expectation that, you know, there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to worry about, that you don't have to sort of try to fit into someone else's mold, I think that's key. So persevere and don't get defensive. And I think that's going to be really key to being successful in the month ahead. All right, let's go through a little bit of how to connect if you'd like to, and then we'll wrap up here. As I said earlier, thank you to everybody who has liked and subscribed. You help spread the word, and I really appreciate it. If you did a super chat, and I see we got some right during meditation, thank you as well. I always put a little pinned reply to my comment, and I thank everybody on when this goes on replay. I have actually put my website at the top there, speaking of pinned, and you can go there if you'd like to for anything that I'm going to talk about. So it's a new feature that they allowed. So as I go through all of this, if you need to, you can use that link. First of all, you can find me on social media, and on my website, you click on the social link, and Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter. I will use the story feature there to help convey reminders of what's coming up new. So Twitter is the only one that has a different username. It's Ashbaugh. Everything else is my full name. And I post pictures of the written cards on all three of these. So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. On the community tab, I put a picture of what I just did. So feel free to take a look at that. And if you want more information about my book, you can go to Goodreads. You can also go to my website and click on the luminous ones in the navigation. My book, by the way, is available now, and it's written in English, but it's available in a lot of different countries. So you can go to my website for information. It is a fantasy and science fiction book, but there's a lot in here, like that quote about how to work with intuition and metaphysics. So take a look if you'd like to. And if you'd also like to use PayPal, that's on my website. You can click on, again, the pinned comment to go to the patron tab, and it will all be there. For those of you watching on replay, you can't use Super Chat, but you can use the applaud button. And thanks again to all of my channel members for joining. You can join as well if you'd like to, even if it's on replay. And that is that. A reminder again, I'd love to see you guys show up for New Year's Eve. So the 31st, 9 a.m. Pacific, basically the same time that I do all of my normal readings, and I hope you can make it. Thank you so much, everybody, for making this a beautiful reading. I love that we kind of went to the forest and had all that green energy around us. I wish you the best, and I look forward to having a great new year with you, right? Like, I think we're all ready for the abundance and the opportunity in 2021, because 2020 has been a little tricky. So much love and light to everybody. Thanks again to my moderators for helping out today. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow on Friday. So I'll be doing, let's see, Capricorn. All right. So until then, take care and have a great day. Thank you.